Students, myself Vijendra Kumar Singh from Delhi School of Economics. And I will take some certain portions of economics with you. Fiscal policy, the entire receipts, entire expenditures. I will make you right, don't worry. Listen first. The entire direct taxes, indirect taxes, all kinds of direct taxes, even the recently introduced the taxes, for example, equalization levy, digital service tax and all kinds of indirect taxes, obviously the GST and VAT, but also the recently introduced windfall tax. We have heard somewhere in the newspaper, also called as special additional excise duty. We will also discuss the entire deficits. Somewhere we heard that we have the fiscal deficit, we have the revenue deficit, we have the primary deficit, and why continuously there is a discussion about it, that the country's fiscal deficit should be in control. Like discussion of that, everything will do. We'll also correlate it with Sri Lankan economic condition, this fiscal deficit and the problem with Sri Lanka, like crowding out and all. Apart from this, we will see that there are some direct tax related concepts. For example, 2013 there was question. I will make you right. Understand this first. Only a small discussion I'm doing. Then first, I will also make you write the syllabus, and then we will proceed further. There is a round tripping 2013 mains question. Along with that, associated double tax avoidance agreement. Another thing, we see that what is tax evasion and what is tax avoidance. Why we say somewhere tax avoidance is legally allowed, but tax evasion is not allowed anywhere. So we will see that. We will see what is general anti-avoidance rule. General anti-avoidance rule introduced in 2017. We witnessed two different kinds of tax reforms. One in April 2017, GAR, General Anti-Avoidance Rule. Another in July 17, GST, Goods and Services Tax. We will see that one. We will see that some newly introduced taxes. Equalization levy, Google tax in 2016. Digital service tax in 2020. Windfall tax, July 2022. And still in continuance. We will see that why whatever the central government collects from states, 42% of it return back to the states, except cess and surcharge. So that is actually done on the recommendations of Finance Commission. We will study 14th Finance Commission also and 15th Finance Commission. 14th already finished, 15 to 20. Last year, mains question about the 14th Finance Commission. There was a question. 15th, we will study both that one. After that, we will see, please, in the entire discussion, I will include all the previous years asked questions, whether PT or mains. I will tell you, this asked in this year and that year. At the same time, we'll also see that how can you write the answer of it. Entire we will do. You will get another handout. Under it, the current economic affairs are there. Whatever happened nowadays, even the last year also, like retrospective tax kind of concept. Handout, Vodafone, Kane Energy case, I have discussed there. Entire previous year questions of the PT along with the answers I will provide you in the next handout. I will also provide you MCQ for practice, isn't it? Question now, discussion done, then at least you must have the question to practice, already given in the other batches because finished. So that one prepared already. Probable questions for the mains and the discussion of that one also. So first we will finish the concept. I will include almost all the PT questions and mains questions inside it. After that, PT question, MCQs for practice and the probable questions for the mains. We will do that. See, this is my regular habit to include this newspaper insertions inside the class. For example, one I am discussing with you, like see that generally I make that Economic Times as a base. For example, RBI has helped the rupee ride out many crises, like that, battling the crisis well. So these kind of discussions generally I include in the class discussion, and see that this would make your answer even more better for the UPSC. So that we will, even points also will write from that. We will study inclusive growth. and sustainable development, employment and unemployment. So there are 12 classes with me, 30 hours. Yes, that one. See, the way of teaching is that I will start with the basic, because what I understand that it might be that some students have economics background, but there are several students who do not have the economics background. So I will start with the basic and go to the advanced level. When I am talking about that, I will discuss the previous year questions, and you will be in a position after the class to write the answer. Obviously, that up to the advanced level we are going. And even someone has the economics background, scoring good marks in college and good marks in UPSC, both are different things, isn't it? That one. So, my lecture would include writing portion also, yes, handouts also, and the discussion of all the topics. See, one thing in the first class I am clarifying that you can ask any question related to economics, but please don't ask question in between. Suppose I am discussing, after the conclusion of it, ask the question. I never leave questions in the class. If you are asking question whether online students, offline students, I always entertain the questions. But after finishing it, one more instruction, especially for my class. Suppose someday you have some important work and you just want to attend half an hour class and then leave. Don't do this in my class. It's better don't come. Yes, but once the class started, don't leave the class. If you have the emergency, please ask me before the class that after today, after 1.5 hours, 2 hours, I will go. This is my actually way. Might be different with others, but once you come, don't leave this. Yes, that one. See, further, I'm going to discuss the entire syllabus with you, that what are the criterias and also the sources to study. Yes, for economics. This is the first class of economics with you. Okay. So, one thing I'm telling you that don't worry about the concept, don't worry about the current affairs. Yes, of those topics. And even the previous year questions that we are not able to solve that, entire things would be done. Probable questions, even in test series and summer it will come. Majority of the questions you would be in a position to do that. Please feel free to ask me question before the class, after the class, in between, after the, when I conclude the topic, no problem at all, isn't it? Never ever think that if I'm asking the question, someone would laugh on me. It's not like that. Everyone is new and everyone is here to learn the things. Might be someone has the problem with a topic which can be easy for others, but easy for him and not easy for different one, isn't it? So never ever feel shy of asking questions. Ask that, yes, and understand the concept, because you all know that you all are the part of the mainstream learning system. Mainstream learning system is failed to prepare you for the UPSC. That's why you are in the alternative learning system, isn't it? So even here also you will not get the clarification. Then what is the use of it? Yes, simple thing. So first what we will do, we'll starting with the syllabus writing, and see this is based upon, because when you see the UPSC syllabus, you see that written social economic development, that's it, one poverty and unemployment. We cannot guess that then what is the syllabus of it. But questions would be as high as 28 questions in a single year from economics. You understand, if UPSC, the cutoff is 45 questions correct, then PT clear. And if 28 questions from one subject, you can understand the importance of it, isn't it? Never ever ignore the economics. See, but there is a criteria. Never ever think that economics are the boundaryless syllabus of it. It's not like that. Criteria, I have prepared that one based on the last, you can say that 25 years question, based on the questions asked by the students every year. Because know that, suppose 10% even from each and every batch I am including, you can say more than 2000 and 3000 questions. Question asked on the test series available in the market and what we ask in the from the students. So on that basis, prepared a syllabus and almost including, so that majority of the topics we cover. Yes. So let's begin with the fiscal policy. Yes, that one. Please, again, I'm telling you, the way of teaching is I will start with the basic and go to the advanced level, isn't it? So we'll start with the syllabus discussion first. We'll take some time to discuss the syllabus so that we can have a criteria that under which we have to study. Yes, that one. First, we are starting with the fiscal policy. And see, it's not we are writing, we are understanding the syllabus also. We are understanding the syllabus also. See, whenever we see this fiscal policy, there is always a question that there is monetary policy also, isn't it? Always a question. So, when we talk about this monetary policy, actually we always talk about money and banking, isn't it? Money and banking. And there is a prime bank with us, which is called as RBI. So this is a policy which is governed by RBI, isn't it? Policy governed by RBI, but fiscal policy not by the RBI. Yes. See, again I am telling you, not teaching this topic, only discussing the syllabus first. Then we will start the fiscal policy after the complete syllabus discussion with me. See, fiscal policy, and if you see the word, look at the Hindi word. The fiscal Hindi is Rajkoshiye. Look at that. This is the Hindi word of it. And policy is Niti. And when we say Raj, we are talking about that the government. Yes, policy related to government, the ruler. And Kosh here means money. It means what we are talking about? Money of the ruler, isn't it? And who is the ruler? Government. So, fiscal policy governed by, yes, government of that country, whether central government or state governments. Yes, so always we see that on the 1st February, nowadays, if you see since the last some 7-8 years, the rule that we are not rule, but practice that we generally announce a budget on 1st February, isn't it? And that is by the government. When we say tax announcement or all, never ever see tax announcement by the RBI governor. Always announced by finance minister, by the government. Subsidies and all by the government. But we see that we have heard somewhere repo rate, reverse repo rate and something, always by RBI, isn't it? So that difference we need to do. But see, so fiscal policy, the policy by the government, and see that every year I told you the fiscal policy document is that budget majority, because that shows what the government is going to do the expenditure and what government is going to receive. So there is a document which is called as budget. And see, in this budget, when we will study in detail, what we will study, we'll study about receipts and study about expenditures. Everywhere we say that ye mere budget mein hai. It means I have already money to support that expenditure, isn't it? That one. So receipts and expenditures. Receipts we have and expenditures we have. Expenditures. Receipts and expenditures. See, further this receipts, when we divide it into two parts, and this expenditure also in two parts. Yes, you have the handout given there also, but I'm doing it to have proper understanding of it. See, when we see this receipts, we are talking about revenue receipts and capital receipts. Revenue receipts and capital receipts yes, receipts, and further revenue expenditure and capital expenditure Achha, now here when we see this revenue receipts, we talk about two different kind of revenues. One is called as, yes, you're right, one is called as tax revenue, another is called as non-tax revenue. Achha. Now, when we see this tax revenue, there we will discuss what are direct taxes and indirect taxes. Yes, and in the direct tax, we will discuss all the direct taxes one by one. When we say all the direct taxes, look at them. Personal income tax. Personal income tax. You have heard about corporate tax somewhere, isn't it? Actually, the full name is corporate income tax or corporate profit tax. So, corporate income tax. We will see that there is a capital gains tax. Capital gains tax. We'll see there is minimum alternate tax. Yes, there is dividend distribution tax. Please understand that if you are not writing the full form, no issue, because obviously when that will come in detail, we'll study. Yes, so still minimum alternate tax is the MAT, and dividend distribution tax is this one. Dividend distribution tax. Distribution tax is the DDT. This is minimum alternate tax. Minimum alternate tax. Acha, in the indirect tax, there are two prime taxes which are still ruling the nation. One is called as value added tax. Value added tax. Still on petrol and diesel we pay VAT, value added tax. The another one is GST, goods and services tax. So we see that we have the VAT, value added tax, and we have the GST. And why we say that GST is a national level VAT? If you see that, we understand GST itself is a VAT. Why we call that GST is a national level VAT, and why we replace this VAT on majority of the items through GST in July 2017? Because except 7 items that we will discuss, and then obviously that will come. Except 7 items, if you see 5 petroleum products, crude oil, petrol, diesel, then aviation turbine fuel, natural gas, alcohol for human consumption, and electricity. 7 items VAT, remaining items under GST. So why the 7 items are still under the VAT, and why the remaining items are inside the GST? We will see that when we see this VAT, we will see that it has also 2 different kind of structure, and GST also 2 different kind of structure. But then why we replace this VAT with GST in July 2017? Anyway, but we see that what are the capital receipts. See, last year 2021 mains question from this division, the question was differentiate between revenue budget and capital budget in the context of Indian economy. See, revenue budget and capital budget. When we say revenue budget, we are talking about revenue receipt plus revenue expenditure. When we say capital budget, talking about capital receipts and 10 marks question. Last year, GS paper 3 question number 2. Yes, that one for 10 marks. Obviously, today itself we will solve that question. Yes, we'll see this. But at present only writing the syllabus, and under it we'll study what is this recovery of loans. Recovery of loans. We will see what is disinvestment. Disinvestment. Yes, and also borrowings. Another one is borrowings. So recovery of loans, disinvestment, borrowings. And under revenue expenditure, we will see that we have one concept called as developmental revenue expenditure, and second one is non-developmental revenue expenditure. Developmental revenue expenditure and non-developmental revenue expenditure. We will discuss why that defense expenditure is called as non-developmental one, why salary paid to the medical staff is called as the developmental one. We'll see that. Yes, when we see capital expenditure, yes, capital expenditure, here we discuss that construction of roads, now here I'm writing that construction of airports and ports and all, and payment of loan. Why these are part of capital expenditures? Again, I repeat, construction of roads, construction of airports, payment of loans, these are the part of capital expenditure. Yes. So this entire, this revenue and capital expenditure and all. So please, it is a syllabus discussion. Please stick with the syllabus, not question what is capital. Wait. So anyway, we will study about all receipts and expenditures. We'll study first what we'll do when we start the discussion. The definition of this, definition of these two are also a definition of this, so that we can easily identify why tax is a part of revenue receipt and why disinvestment is a part of capital receipt. Why we can't say that tax is a part of capital receipt, and why can't we say that borrowing is a part of revenue receipt? Through definition it will be clear. Yes, easily you can identify. So no need to remember that one. See, when we say this direct taxes, which we study, with the direct taxes, now look at some of the associated questions. Now, direct question is that 2018, I'm talking about this capital gains tax. Yes, this is, I think, done. Yes. So, when we see this capital gains tax, look at this. Capital gains tax. Yes, two questions associated now, because applied part is the important actually feature of the UPSC examination. So, there was one direct question from the capital gains tax in 2018. When we study, we will understand what was the question. Look at the applied part. One is called as round tripping. Question in 2013 mains. Yes. And another, last year it was more in discussion. As a probable question, we will study retrospective tax. Retrospective tax. Yes, retrospective tax. We'll see that. Along with this round tripping, we'll also study, look at this, double tax avoidance agreement. Double tax avoidance agreement. Yes, double tax avoidance agreement. We will see that along with the round tripping. These are the applied part of the capital gains tax. There is a direct concept and then the applied part. So this we will study as a asked question. This we will study as a probable question. Yes, may be asked any time. So probable question. This entire Vodafone Clean Energy example we will discuss in the class. See, further we say that we have, if there are two concepts. One is called as tax evasion. Another is called as tax avoidance. We will see that difference between avoidance. Means we are talking about difference between, yes, what tax evasion and tax avoidance, one. Another difference between cess and surcharge. Another difference we'll see, TDS and TCS. Yes, what this TDS is and what this TCS is. Why somewhere it is written tax deducted at source, TDS, deducted at source, and why tax collected at source? Means tax deducted at source, and this is tax collected at source. What is the difference between them? Why we say that cess and surcharges, cess has some specific purpose of levying it. Why the cess written with some prefix like Krishi Kalyan cess, Swachh Bharat Mission cess, Health and Education cess, NHAI cess? Why it written like that? We will see all. Apart from that, we will see that actually to stop black money generation, to stop avoidance of tax, someone is not paying that, which is the reality of the nation. Why that government in April 2017, government introduced general anti-avoidance rule. Why government introduced, again probable question, general anti-avoidance rule, avoidance rule. Why this GAR, general anti-avoidance rule? And continuously that this GAR is stopping the tax avoidance kind of thing. That what does it mean? That we will see. Introduced in April 2017. We see that why part of TTC and all. Acha, continuously we have the tax revenue. The government has the tax revenue. Government collects the tax from us. And government does the expenditure, isn't it? Salary payment, defense expenditure, then road construction, then metros and different expenditures by the government. But we always say, see that the government remains in deficit. When we say government remains in deficit, we say that government expenditure is more while receipt is less. Why it is so? And to understand that one, we generally discuss deficits. Yes, deficits in budget. Deficits in budget. Deficits in budget, and we see that what is revenue deficit. We'll see what is revenue deficit, what are the implications of it. If there is a deficit, what would happen? Revenue deficit. Why continuously there is a discussion to make this revenue deficit zero? 2013 mains question. We'll see about the FRBM Act. We'll study. Then why government announces 3 deficits every year? Revenue deficit, fiscal deficit and primary deficit. So fiscal deficit, and primary deficit. Yes, why the fiscal deficit concept is, this deficit is creating problem for Sri Lanka. And if you see the statement of ex-Pakistani Prime Minister, ex, वहाँ कभी भी कोई भी ex हो जाता है, लेकिन ex Imran Khan, isn't it? He told that whatever loan we have taken, forget about the principal. To pay the interest of it, we take the loan again. Yes. Yesterday, 2 days back, even the recent Prime Minister told that even now the friends are also looking at us like beggars. They think that they are beggars. Now always we stand in front of them with bowl and demanding money. So our condition is as such. So why that statement is associated with this primary deficit? Say that because it has the actually that particular concept, interest payment is hampering the country's growth. Only interest payment, because that is not solving any kind of problem. We'll see that further, but we'll also study 2 more concepts. One is called as budget deficit. Budget deficit. Another is effective revenue deficit. Effective revenue deficit. Revenue deficit. These 2 also will study. Budget deficit and effective revenue deficit. From budget deficit, there was a question in the last year PT. Yes, last year 2021. So we'll study about this effective revenue deficit, this budget deficit and all. So deficits, and now when we link these deficits with the asked questions, so there was one question in 2013 about Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act. Yes, Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act. This is fiscal responsibility and Budget Management Act. Budget Management Act. Aja, see, we have two FRBM. One is the old one, another is the new one. Two FRBM, old FRBM, on which the question was there in the mains, 2003. New FRBM, yes, 2016. So old FRBM will study as an asked question, and new FRBM as a probable question. Yes, we'll study both. And why this FRBM Act is related to mostly this revenue deficit and this fiscal deficit. Why it is related to these two concepts? We'll study all related to this one, FRBM Act, old one and the new one. We will see that. Apart from this, I told you that some new taxes, like some new taxes and even some confusing taxes I will clarify. And see, new taxes, one is called as Google tax. Yes, Google tax. Yes, the another one is, it is also called as equalization levy. Also called as equalization levy. Why there's a continuous discussion by America, that now the Indian government should scrap it, although introduced in 2016. There is digital service tax. Digital service tax 2020. Yes, recently windfall tax. Recently means July 2022. Yes, windfall tax. Yes, now some confusing taxes like land tax and land revenue tax. Revenue tax, income tax and professional tax. Income tax and professional tax. Why it appears like land tax also, land revenue tax also. Both are different. How they are different? Income tax on the income, professional tax also, when we do the profession we'll earn the income. What is the difference? Yes, we see that. Because they always, if you see, the tax and levying authority and written. Levying authority, state, municipalities, central government, panchayats. Kind of options were there and the tax was given there in the question, if you see this. So we will do all so that there should not be any confusion among them. Yes, why land revenue different? Why income and professional tax different? Yes, we will see that. Apart from this, we will see that whatever central government collects from the states, central government collect from the states, 42% of it is given to return back to the states, and that recommendation given by Finance Commission. Finance Commission. So we'll study 14th Finance Commission and 15th Finance Commission. 14th Finance Commission and 15th Finance Commission. See, please, already asked question, mains 2021. Yes, this we will study as a probable question, but we will study both. Yes, see, again I'm repeating, never ever think that question asked from that topic would not come again. After that we'll study inclusive growth. Since the last 4 years, continuously question from inclusive growth. 2018, in 19 there was no question, 20, 21 and this year, 4 days back, there was a question from inclusive growth. So continuously from the same topic they are asking the question. Question number 1 of GS paper 3, PPP and the role of railway to ensure it, already asked question. Question number 3rd or 4th, upstream and downstream requirement of supply chain management, already asked question. Yes, some change of words, asked question. So we cannot say that. If you see that PT, you see that the definition of recession, slowdown, contraction, recession, depression, 4 different stages of the economy. There's 4 different stages, and asked in 11 also, 13 also, and even the next 1-2 years after that also. So you cannot say that, but that's why we need to understand the entire concepts. Yes, that one. We'll study 14 Finance Commission, 15 Finance Commission, recommendations and all. What is tax devolution? That concept under it. We'll study all the previous year questions. We'll include during the discussion, whether of PT or of mains, and also the probable question. Yes, probables, that how can we write the answers if there would any kind of question would come. Yes, with us. In between, whatever current affairs would come related to that topic, that we will discuss. Not only discuss, write appropriate answer of it also. Yes, so don't worry that in between government announced, for example, windfall tax, obviously we'll do that. Just recently announced any new fiscal policy. Suppose government is continuously, we are witnessing that there is a discussion. When we study the GST, we see that there is a discussion. There are 4 prime rates of the GST, 5, 12, 18 and 28. Prime rates, 3 also, and there is other also, but there are 4 prime rates. There is a continuous discussion that government is going to scrap 12% rate. Continuous discussion. Obviously, we'll write that. Recently, government has introduced 5% GST on the unbranded packaged food. Obviously, we'll discuss that. So, whatever will happen in between, we'll discuss. Obviously, when you say in between, we are talking about 10 months, doesn't it? Because the syllabus, along with that, so current affairs related to the topic would be prepared in the class itself. Yes, that one. Anyway, and concepts more. It's important, because if you understand the concept, if you understand the windfall tax, now the current affairs government introduced it, reduced it, no problem. Some increment, some decrement, you understand. It is only addition, but the concept is the important part in economics. Yes, you see that. It's not the factual subject. No need to remember this percentage, that percentage. We need to understand the trend. If the direct tax is continuously on rise, we say that it is on rise. No need to remember last year how much direct tax, this year how much, and that much. That will not solve any problem. Trend, because UPSC always believe in why, not in what. Yes, if suppose somewhere written 2005 and you see that 2006, it doesn't solve any problem, because years change se kuch nahi hota hai. Why 2005 the tax was low, why 6 tax were more, that is the main actually cause of concern. Anyway, so 5 classes for fiscal policy. If there is a need, we can extend it further, isn't it? That one. So 5 classes for it. Next, now we are going to discuss about, we will discuss first, we are going to discuss the syllabus only. Inclusive growth, one fiscal policy syllabus we have discussed. Now inclusive growth, and I told you why continuously question in the last 4 years except 2019, starting from 2018, continuous question. Yes, from this inclusive growth. Why it is so? See, for that I will give you one example. During my PhD paper in the interview, I just took some interview, and there are 2 examples I will quote directly to clarify this and clarify last year question. Yes, this year question and all obviously will include inside the class, but look at that. I'm writing something and then I will take that example. Yes, and to clarify the question and the concept, inclusive growth, there is one particular word which is called as infrastructure. Infrastructure, particular word. And see, we have 2 different headings under it. One is called as economic infrastructure, economic infrastructure. Another is social infrastructure, social infrastructure. And we see that, yes, why we study electricity under the economic infrastructure. And if electricity, there is a transportation. There's transportation. there is communication, basic infrastructure we are talking about, education, social infrastructure, health, housing, this basic, and how these are related, interrelated, means physical infrastructure development, physical infrastructure, development, and human development, human development. And why we say that here we talk about roads, here you talk about electricity, yes, and here we talk about communication. Communication, when we talk about physical. When we talk about health, we are talking, mostly we focus on education, and in human development, focus on health. Yes, this housing also part of it, but mostly focused on this. When we link them, we see almost this is linked with this, and social linked with human. Yes, and look at the last year question, last year mains question. The question was that investment in infrastructure would ensure inclusive growth. That was the question. Investment in infrastructure would ensure inclusive growth, and how it is possible. Through only taking 2-3 minutes to clarify, I took some interview from some people in the village, and I'm clarifying how this question and how this concept. Understand please that how this infrastructure, when we say infrastructure, take any one example, road for example, road, and taking the example to clarify that how this infrastructure is needed for inclusive growth. Actually, the another word of inclusive growth is development. Another word of inclusive growth is development. Look at that, the part is written development and development. Another word of inclusive growth is development. Yes, that one. And when we say development, we always talk about quantity with quality. Development. When we say growth, only quantity, and development means quantity with quality. We say that he is a developed person. He has the quantity also, that is this year, but good actually quality also inside it, isn't it? That one. So we have the, now take that example. I'm talking about that in one village, yes, in the rural area, and take example of the urban area. I saw that in a village there was one individual. He told, sir, actually my education is not too much, it's around 12 pass only. I want a good education for my children, better standard of living for my family, which is not possible when I stay in the rural area. He told what I did. 16-17 months back, I went to the urban area, searched jobs according to my qualification. The maximum amount offered to me was 9,000 rupees. He told, according to my qualification. When I calculated my expenditures, so I saw that 5,000 was the room rent with minimum basic facilities, minimum, even lacking of some facilities, but still we could manage for the sake of providing good education to the children. That one. 3,000 rupees was the 2 children school fee. 3,000. So it was 8,000 rupees. So hardly something left, only 1,000 for the food and other items, electricity bill and different. So we decided not to go to the urban that city to do that job. We decided to stay in the rural area only, and whatever the job, whatever the agricultural activities I will do, the children would study in the village schools, whatever will be the quality. Government schools are there, because we could not have that money, we could not manage that one. He told, but sir, now I'm working in that city. I asked, I could not understand. He told that I'm clarifying it. He told what happened earlier. The problem was the roads were very bad, and hardly 2-3 buses, and there was no timing of it. Suppose written 7 o'clock, it will come at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock and something. And if time is 10 o'clock, it will come at 1 o'clock and something. We cannot make the plan because only roads were very bad. So it's quite difficult to make any kind of plan through that roads that I can go here and there. He told 6-7 months back, there was a road construction. Please understand. 6-7 months back, there was a road construction under Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Road construction. He told, please understand this. When we say road construction, transportation, part of infrastructure, isn't it? Please understand this. We are talking about development of that person. So what I do, that I catch, then because of this road construction, now several transportation medium. E-rickshaw also available. Available 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock. Buses also available because obviously when the roads are good, there are so many private players and to earn the money, they will run the buses and all. So now I catch the bus at around 7:30, sometimes 7:35, 7:45 I get the bus. And it takes hardly maximum 1 hour to reach to the city. So I joined the job, although this job was not available to me. A similar kind of job was there. Yes. Now I catch the bus at 7:30 am, get down at around 8:30 am. My reporting time in the office is 9 am. I do the work, 6:30 is the last reporting time, and then at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. I catch the bus. 8 p.m. get down near to my village area. Yes, that one. He told them, look at my expenses. Please understand. Entire discussion on the basis of what he shared with me. So he told my expenses now, and expenditure now. He told that first, that 2,000 rupees transportation cost, isn't it? He told 980 rupees from one side, 980 rupees from other side, okay, 1,000 from one, 1,000 to another, to and fro, monthly. I told, okay. He told 3,000 rupees school fee for the children. I told, stop. How school fee? They are staying in the rural area. So rural area school fee cannot be 1,500 and something. I told, no sir. This 3,000 is also associated with 1,500 additional payment. I asked what? Because of roads, these urban schools, they are sending buses. And it takes hardly 40-45 minutes maximum, this 1 hour. They send buses. So they take 750 rupees each from each student. So 2 children with me, so obviously 1,500. So 3,000 fees and this, and now they are getting that education also. Please understand. So he told that total is 3 to 5, 6,500. Yes, 6,500. And he told that I am adding something else also. He told now forget about that. Whatever at 8,000, yes, now even more than that, I'm getting a 6,500. Apart from that, he told I am adding 500 rupees electricity bill. He told although it is a fixed one, it cannot be more than 300 to 350, but 500. 7,000. Please understand. Electricity, please understand this. And electricity, I asked that, but there are certain advantages when you are staying in the cities. Good electricity, they would study for a late night. He told, no sir. Electricity was almost good earlier, but now even better. And the government introduced one scheme, I do not know. I told Pradhan Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana. So told because of that 22 hours electricity. And now they are studying till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the night. Yes, they are completing their homework. And there is 200 rupees internet bill, he told, 199 and something. So it is 7,200. And they are, because internet speed is okay. So what he is doing, that they are watching good stuffs on the YouTube and somewhere, downloading the things also. So 7,200 rupees. Please understand, electricity, don't you think again the part of infrastructure? Communication, internet, part of communication, again infrastructure. Don't you think that because of this investment in infrastructure by the government, there is a better development of this family happening or not? Isn't it? Better development of that family, inclusive growth. Why? Because the person was not providing good education to the family members and all, now providing. Yes, this. Further, we say that he told, sir, actually this 9,000 rupees which I am getting there is not exactly 9,000. He told it is around 12,000. I told that I failed to understand how 12,000. He told, sir, actually when I stay in the rural area, I am taking care of my agricultural activities also. On the holidays, Sundays, yes, I am taking care of them also, and generally there is a habit in the rural area to wake up early in the morning. So 4 o'clock and 5:30 generally I go and take the round of the fields. And this one, last month I sold vegetable. I have done the cultivation of vegetable around 3,100 something. It will take round figure 3,000. On the regular basis it will come because regularly I would work there. So it is 12,000 rupees. Please understand. And he told that whenever I have to pluck the vegetables, what I do, instead of 7:30, all the family members wake up early in the morning. I catch the bus at 7 o'clock. 8 o'clock, get down in the mandis of that PMC Mandi, Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee, Mandi in the urban area, almost 8:30 to 45 to the wholesaler selling complete, and then report to the office at 9 o'clock. Yes, so I'm doing that. In that way, he told, now a better life I'm living. Better life I'm living means the earning is more than that. Almost students are getting qualitative education. They are getting that internet facilities, that electricity only. This all would be possible when there was road construction. Yes, first. After that, coupled with electricity, then this would also be ensured along with that. Yes, that one. So he told it is because of the roads first. So investment in infrastructure would ensure inclusive growth. Yes or no? He told there are other facilities. As he told facilities not, some help. I asked that what kind of help? He told, sir, actually if someone is sick in the rural area, earlier it was quite difficult to carry that person to the urban area. Now the roads are good. So many public transports in the village only. We have the Bolero and something, he told, Mahindra's Bolero. It's quite popular because of the roads. We carry those persons quite easily to the urban hospitals in the night around half an hour, 35-40 minutes, and the person get good treatment. It is possible when we have the good roads. Obviously later on this should be in the urban rural areas also. They told that it is investment in infrastructure that has ensured inclusive growth. Last year mains question. Take another example, one more, and in one another village I saw potato at 2 rupees per kg. 2 rupees per kg. Yes. Are difficult to digest. In Delhi we purchase at 20 to 25 to 30 rupees. 2 rupees per kg. I asked that why you are selling it at 2 rupees per kg. They told, actually first we have the hand to mouth problem. We sell these potatoes, then go for the next crop. We do not have the source of income. Obviously we are going for the desperate sale. And we cannot go to the urban areas. I asked why. Again, told the roads are very bad. Yes, roads are very bad, and these are the urban areas. And but we sell it to the intermediaries. Yes, they have the tractors, and through any kind of roads, they actually carry those products to the urban areas, which we do not. We do not have the tractors and all. So they carry that one. 2 rupees per kg we get, and sometimes though even difficult to recover the cost, because cost is around 1 rupee 80 paisa per kg, he told. Tell me the solution. What the government did, that I asked from the intermediary. Intermediary told, sir, 2 rupees per kg we are giving to the farmer. 2 rupees per kg, suppose transportation cost for us. 1 rupee here and there. It is total 15 rupees, and to wholesaler we sell it at 20 rupees. So 5 rupees paid to the farmer. Overall gain to us is how much? 15. I asked from the people, why don't you sell to the urban areas? Now 15 rupees आपको मिलेगा. Told the road ऐसा है ही नहीं. So the problem is that whole day we have to sit and one vehicle would come and overcrowded, it's difficult. So it's better to sell it to the intermediary. Tell me, government announced procurement price of 6 rupees. Told okay, sell those potatoes to us at 6. 2 rupees your cost, 4 rupees gain to you. So solution for that year, isn't it? What about the next year? Again there would be a overproduction. Again the government will continue this procurement price. Understand this minimum support price that government started around 1964 with the recommendations of Lakshmikant Jha committee, and the initial announcement was it is for the next 3 to 4 years. 3 to 4 years. Now till date, 64 till date, still we are continuing and we don't dare to withdraw it, isn't it? So procurement price once announced every year, you will have to pay. But what will, if the road construction would be there, don't you think moment the road constructions are there are several public transports and they can carry their products. Suppose their cost of production is also this, isn't it? And they can also make 15 rupees. So obviously no one will go to sell to the government procurement price and they will sell it to the urban cities. What is essential? This subsidized price is important or construction of these roads important? So don't you think that this investment in infrastructure, road is the part of it, would ensure proper development of these people? One student told, sir, might be that some people, farmers, they do not wish to go to the urban areas. No problem. If the roads are good, even the urban people can also come to the rural areas. The most important definition of roads is that it removes, you can say that, separation of market. Yes, and how separation? These people can go here, these people can go here easily. Now they can come. Don't you think more and more buyers would come? This 2 rupees per kg would go to 4 rupees per kg, 6 rupees per kg, 8 rupees per kg. Understand, if it is 8 rupees per kg, don't you think it is a win-win situation to all? Yes, these people who are purchasing it at 25 rupees, 30 rupees, they are purchasing at what price? 8 rupees. Add plus 2 rupees transportation per kg. 10 rupees for them. And now for them, no need to sell it at any other price, even at the higher price. This all possible when there is an investment by the government in, isn't it? Last year question. Even I am telling you, we have the storage capacity of this perishable items. When you say perishable items, we are talking about fruits and vegetables. The storage capacity is around 23 million ton. Sometimes the production of fruits and vegetables together more than 100 million ton. How can you keep the remaining fruits and vegetables? According to Ministry of Food Processing Industry, every year around 1 trillion rupees valued fruits and vegetables are wastage without any use. If cold storage is also part of infrastructure, don't you think storage? If they would keep those potatoes in the cold storage, only they will sell that one for their need. The remaining they will sell when there is a scarcity of it. Don't you think same potatoes are 20 rupees, 30 rupees, 35 rupees? So again, investment in infrastructure would ensure inclusive growth. Yes, it's very, very important. Just that one. And that's why we had the question last year that investment in these would ensure development of the people, isn't it? So linked one. When you see, now understand the question. When we study in detail, obviously we study everything. Further we say that in this we have human, every year there is a HDI report. This HDI publishes HDI publishes that there is a IHDI, Inequality Adjusted Human Development Index. It further publishes that Gender Inequality Index, then Gender Development Index, Gender Development Index. Yes, we see that there is a multi-dimensional poverty index. So we'll study about them, that what this ISDI, what this gender inequality index, what this gender development index. We'll also study World Happiness Index. World Happiness Index. So inequality, full form you can see later on, Inequality Adjusted HDI, Human Development Index, recently published, yes, just 7 or 8 September. Human Development Index, HDI, Inequality Adjusted HDI, Gender Inequality Index, Gender Inequality Index, and Gender Development Index, Multi-Dimensional Poverty Index. You will study under the poverty. Every year there is a Human Development Report on them, and World Happiness Index. World Happiness Index, we'll see them. What are those indexes in the economy? We see that every year publication of it, and we have seen that this year the India is ranking 131 to 132. Yes, but we see why more than 90% countries ranking declined. Because 20 and 21, 2 years combination, more than 90% this declined. Even the Sri Lanka was 72, 73. Pakistan was 159 around, now 161 to 162. So why declined, and why only 2 European nations are under top 10? If you see this, we'll see, if you see the last year 21, more than 40% countries HDI value declined. What is this HDI value and how declined and all, we will discuss. We will see further, whenever there is a growth, 2018 mains question, whenever there is a growth, there is an inflation. When we say inflation, we talk about price rise. Don't you think petrol price was 25 paisa per liter in 1947. Now around 100 rupees, somewhere more, somewhere less, 100 rupees per liter. Obviously, it's all about inflation. We are not able to supply according to the demand. Look at the population that time, purchasing power that time, kitna kharid sakte the, income of the people, and purchasing power this time. Why 25 to 25 rupees, 25 paisa to 25 rupees in 80s? Why it was 45 during the 2000? Why 54 during the 2014? Why 100 after that? That we will see. That's why the name of this inflation growth conflict. Inflation growth conflict. Growth conflict. When the growth is there, inflation is there, price rise is there, and for that we will understand 2 different kinds of inflation. One is called as demand pull inflation, demand pull inflation, and another one is cost push inflation, cost push inflation. Demand pull inflation and the cost push inflation. What this demand pull inflation is, what this cost push inflation is, and why we say somewhere in the economy up to a limit, demand pull inflation is not bad, up to a limit, and the limit is set in India. Limit is 4% with plus minus 2% fluctuations. It means the range is what, 2 to 6%. Why we say that? We see that Phillips curve and all, why it shows that inflation, price rise up to a limit is not bad for the economy. Up to a limit, it increases employment, up to a limit. A limit is what? Up to 6%. Yes. Similarly, simply we know that the essential commodities, suppose I'm getting 10,000 rupees per month, running my family to that. Now the prices of all the essential commodities increased by 50%. Inflation by 50%, price rise. Now I will call my brother also to come for work to earn that money, isn't it? Price rise that pressurize pushes the people to go for work, isn't it? up to a limit. Anyway, we'll see that demand pull, cost push. But why there is a blame that India's inflation is mostly cost push, which is not good for the economy? Yes, why it is so? Isn't it? That one. Further, we will see that here also previous year questions. The PT questions, obviously, I will provide you mains question and the probables. There are 4 classes for this inclusive growth. And but see, when I told you inclusive growth, I told you that it is also called as development. So there is one class for sustainable development, topic number 3, and that is sustainable development. There is a one class on it, sustainable development. We see 2020 mains question from this, intra-generational and intergenerational sustainable development. What does it mean? One class for it, 4 class for that. Inclusive growth, 5 class for fiscal policy. There are 10 classes, and the 2 classes we will see. The topic number 4 on employment and unemployment. Employment and unemployment. Employment and unemployment. 2 classes. We see that why we have the various different kinds of unemployment. For example, we have one, you can say voluntary unemployment, voluntary unemployment. We have involuntary unemployment. We have structural. Some technical I am discussing. Obviously, the easier one also will discuss, but here I am writing a structural. Why we have frictional unemployment? Yes. Why we have disguised unemployment? 2016 PT question with this definition, disguised unemployment. Why there is one concept which is called as natural rate of unemployment. Natural rate of unemployment. Why we have one unemployment concept called as cyclical unemployment. Cyclical. Unemployment. Cyclical. And why it is related with a particular concept which is called as trade cycle. Trade cycle, business cycle. Suppose any economy there is a normal condition, and we see this in the economy, ups and downs. Why these ups and downs have different names? One is called as boom in the economy. 2013 PT question, that boom, contraction, recession and depression given on one side and definition another side. Match the following. So boom, there is slowdown. This is below normal is called as recession. Recession. Why this is called as depression in the economy? Why this is called as a recovery? And again, why boom? Why boom? So boom, the stop, then going down, slow down, but still positive. Now negative recession. What is depression? Then recovery, and then boom. And see, in the economy, whenever this condition comes, we say that. Whenever this condition comes, we say that there is recession in the economy. There is unemployment in the economy because negative. This is the normal one. Below that, negative growth would also bring unemployment. So, which is called as cyclical. What is the cyclical unemployment? We will see that a trend of unemployment, trend of unemployment before 2000 and after 2000. Yes, trend in unemployment before 2000, after 2000. Yes, that one. We have seen recently that new labor laws. Yes, that one. So that also we'll discuss the labor laws along with this employment and unemployment concept. Yes, new labor laws. Apart from that, we'll see measurement of unemployment method, measurement of unemployment. And see, one is called as usual principal status, another is called as current weekly status, third one is called as current daily status. So usual principal status, current weekly status, current daily status. Principal, usual principal status, current weekly status, current daily status. Yes, current daily status, and all the and government yes, employment generation programs. Yes, generation programs. We will see that. And similarly, we'll also see that the previous year questions, yes, are both PT plus mains, mostly mains oriented topic, and probables. See, when we see that the first fiscal policy, please, fiscal policy equally important for PT and mains. If you see the last, it's not 20, even 15, 16 years, more than 36 questions from fiscal policy in PT. If you see mains, understand the importance of it. Last year, 2 questions from a single topic. If you see 2 questions, so one was the revenue budget and capital budget, another one was 14 Finance Commission. 2 questions in single year, you can understand. So around 13 to 14 questions from there. So very, very important for the PT and mains. Very important, because anywhere government policy we say monetary or fiscal, isn't it? That one. And there is one external balance of payment. So external balance of payment, internal fiscal policy, monetary policy. If you are understanding, we are understanding economics quite well. Now, you see further that inclusive growth, 40% PT, 60% mains more. Sustainable development, yes, equally. But this employment and unemployment mainly for the mains purpose. Yes, isn't it? That one. So see, with that, there are 12 classes with me. See, again, for other topic, other teachers. Yes, that one. For these 12, example, monetary policy, agriculture, and all different teachers are there, infrastructure there. Now, I'm going to discuss the sources with you. Yes, what are the sources to discuss, to study this? So please understand these sources. Please, this is the 5:30 class. It doesn't mean that through your appearance you show that this is a 5:30 class, isn't it? Suppose I'm looking at you and you're looking at me like that. Even I can also teach you in the same way, isn't it? आप मुझे reflect करो, मैं वैसे ही reflect back करूँगा. So पढ़ते हैं sources के बारे में. I will also do the same, isn't it? So please, आपके सामने मैं देखूँ तो आप उसको मत करो. ऐसा कर रहे हो तो फिर मैं भी वैसे ही आपको रिटर्न करूँ और बता के कि यू नॉट उधर नहीं है, अभी भी नहीं है. सोर्सेस, यस. अच्छा, व्हेन यू से सोर्सेस, द फर्स्ट एंड इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट इज द क्लास नोट्स. Important part is the class notes. Please rely on the class notes more. Yes, that highly explanatory nature with the live examples and all, which you will not get in the books at all. You will get only 2, 3, 4 lines definition, that's it. Because there is a limitation of books, कि इतने pages में ही हो सकते हैं, isn't it? And here see that for some topics, different teacher. Obviously, the teacher will not leave anything on that topic. That's why rely on the class notes more. This, you can say the concept plus current affairs and all the examples. You will see that. So 95% on the class notes. For 5% some sources you can refer. For example, that Indian economic development. Indian economic development. Yes, earlier it was in the 11th class, now in 12th class, NCERT. Yes, all the pages, you can go for it. For basic, third, introductory macroeconomics. Introductory macro, MSCRO. Macro, because there's micro also, MICRO, economics. And C, please, again 12th class NCERT. And but please don't go for diagrams. Yes, leave chapter 4, not for you. And also don't go for numericals. Yes, not important and not at all would be asked in the UPSC. So leave chapter 4, diagrams and numericals. And see, some students said that the NCERT language is tough, especially for economics. So one side book, same book written by T.R. Jain, that you can purchase. Same, Indian Economic Development, with the definition in boxes, with simplified language. So that, and this also by T.R. Jain. But please understand, written or means if you are comfortable with the NCERT, don't go for them. Yes, don't go for the this also and that also. It is written or, isn't it, that one? Plus, if you see, or sorry, if you see that, okay, that generally teachers, they include this NCERT inside the class notes. Yes, we do that. So we directly want to go to the books. So there is Indian Economy by Sanjeev Verma, that you can purchase. Yes, Indian Economy by Sanjeev Verma, ex-Vajiram faculty. Unfortunately, he died in the class itself when he was teaching. So very good teacher, and when he wrote, there's a continuous updation by the publication, good book. Is that you can purchase. But again, I'm telling you, not all the three together. This or that, or if you see that, okay, included, so you can go directly for the book, leave them. Yes, if you are comfortable with the basics, which we do in the class. Apart from this, plus, now plus, it's not or, plus Indian Economy Yellow Book provided by the institute. Yes, Yellow Book. Relevant topics, please. Not all the topics, even there are several other informations there also. Relevant topics, yes, that one. Plus business and economy pages of the newspaper. See, when you say economy, please pick economy, leave the business. Share market performance this, that Tata's quarterly profit is this, these all are business. But if it is written, government should focus on the primary deficit instead of fiscal deficit, economics. Written that government should stop this non-tariff barriers according to the WTO, economics, isn't it? If it is written that RBI has increased repo rate, economics, isn't it? So it's hardly 1-2 topics every day, isn't it? And remaining the business, because the page is what business and economy. Leave that business into it, go for the economy. Now the choice is yours. Newspaper can be the Hindu or can be the Indian Express. It is up to you, but mind it, please don't be swayed away by the editorials of it, because one is left-lean newspaper, the Hindu, another is slightly right-wing leaned. Make your own opinion when you are reading that editorial of it, but obviously the newspapers are highly informative. That is for sure. You cannot deny from that. For the UPSC, the best information you will get in these two. Any one you can take, okay. But understand, apart from that, how can you use the newspaper items inside the notes? Please, you are preparing for the next year, obviously. Then don't cut and don't keep everything with yourself. Whatever done in the class, because the entire syllabus for 10 months here, whatever done, obviously everything would be completed in 10 months. In that 10 months, utilize the newspaper accordingly. Suppose I discussed inverted duty structure with you in the GST. So if the question would be there, if discussion would be there, very easily, even in the notes, you can add 1-2 points, because remaining all the discussions done in the class. Now you are in a position to understand, even you reading the topic, you are understanding, and even you can write 1-2 lines of it. But if you do not understand inverted duty structure at all, which has not been done in the class, then what will happen? That usko kaat ke side mein rakh denge, and that will remain forever there only. Don't do this. Don't be in hurry. When finished, then do it, because in the 10 months everything would be finished, and then in 10 months an entire discussion with you. Don't you think if today you are not saving, suppose something about the inverted duty structure, don't you think if it will be done after 1 month, after 1 month the same topic would be given in the newspaper with more information? Because if it is important to keep everything, so then keep since 1947, isn't it? उस समय से रखना पड़ेगा ना. All the toppers, then they will have to keep from 1947. You see that past का क्या होगा? That's why you are getting the recitals from the institution for anything if it is in the past, that you do get that. So please do that one. For example, you are studying food processing industry. Yes, and now yesterday there was an announcement about the integration of agricultural fund, and you can say that food processing industry. So integration of one platform, study that. If you studied infrastructure, now there is national logistic policy. Yes, so add that. But you are studied, you understand, acha, logistic infrastructure ka part hai. These are the ways to do it. Now it's easy to understand. So please add that one. Don't cut everything and insert everything inside it. After the completion of every topic means suppose fiscal policy I finished in 5-6 classes, whatever. If notebook you're writing in the notebook, leave 2-3 pages so that you can update it. For example, I taught you GST, main rates are 5, 12, 18, 28. Now government at present, yes, after 10 days government scrapped 12%. Obviously you need to update it. Now 12% not in existence, yes. And now government is also, there is a discussion, 5% would become 8%, 12% scrapped, 18% would become 15%, 28% would become 30. So you write that previous rates, present rates. Now done. Rest discussion, the entire with merits, demerits, concept, everything discussed in the class and even written also. So this is the best way to utilize those informations. Then with less hard work, maximum result, isn't it? Called as economies of scale. Input कम लगाएंगे, output ज़्यादा मिलेगा, isn't it? Otherwise जो भी मिले काट कर उसको रख लेंगे, इतना बोझ वो किस पे, वो टेबल पे रखे रहेंगे. And whenever someone will enter, पढ़ता तो है बहुत, isn't it? So we need to understand that one. Then along with that, the recitals. Yes, for current affairs, isn't it? And there is a portal of the institute and everyday updation of the current affairs. That's it. I am telling you that we will not leave anything. Yes, with the relevant topics, whatever the teacher is teaching, we'll teach you everything, because I can tell you that जो तुम नहीं तो हम भी हम नहीं, और न चाहिए इससे ज्यादा इससे कम नहीं, isn't it? So whatever I have given you, please stick with that. Yes, in the last class someone asked, sir, I have heard somewhere that sir, there is one Ramesh Singh book and something. Yes, then again I am telling you, not beyond that, because when you are studying that book, you see that written fiscal deficit in 4 lines. Now look at the fiscal deficit discussion in the class, understand. I will teach you, it was earlier budget deficit, the entire process of budget deficit. Why budget deficit was being financed through printing of currencies, borrowing from RBI, why stopped on the basis of recommendations of Subramanian Chakravarti committee, why fiscal deficit because of revenue deficit is bad, because of capital deficit is not bad, why when financing fiscal deficit through borrowings have the implications like crowding out, inflation, widening of revenue deficit, downgrading of the credit ratings. Linking with the present happenings globally like Sri Lanka, yes, and Pakistan to always an example hota hai, isn't it? So in the entire discussion I did, you get that one in the book? Obviously not. So only that 3-4 lines there, so obviously not needed. Yes, so about those kind of books, I told you not beyond anything beyond that. About those kind of books I can say only one line, कि वो बुलाती है मगर, isn't it? So that one. Now someone, when shall we start with standard books? Please, when you are comfortable. पहले शुरू तो हो जाए. सामने को सर एग्रीकल्चर. Sir agriculture? No, sir is Vijay Kumar Singh, not agriculture. Obviously, I told you other teachers are also there to teach you. They will teach you that one. Land reforms and agriculture subsidies and all they will do. Food processing industry also and all. Okay. Okay, so let's begin with the fiscal policy. Yes, first topic, please. Acha, see, first we'll write some of the components like non-tax revenue. I'm writing the non-tax revenue components. In your handouts also given, you can write some additional there. Fees, fines, dividends, yes, grants received, license, yes, asset monetization, there is one escheat, special assessment, fees, fines, dividends, grants received. I will discuss all, but I'm writing the example only. License, asset monetization, borrowings. Direct taxes and indirect taxes difference we will see. All the direct taxes which I made you write, we will do discussion one by one, this entire. First, revenue receipt definition, please write in 2 lines, please. Revenue receipts, definition please. Yes, revenue receipts, right? They do not create liabilities. They do not create liabilities to the government. They do not create liabilities to the government. They do not create liabilities to the government. Liabilities to the government. Next line. They are not obtained. They are not obtained through selling of government properties. Through selling of government properties. They are not obtained through selling of government properties. Through selling of government properties. Achha, please now understand. First, we have the tax revenue. First, what I am doing, I am differentiating between direct tax and indirect tax. So, here I am writing that direct tax, please all the merits and demerits of direct taxes separately we will discuss. First, we are looking at the introductory parts of all. Yes, and then details of direct, entire indirect we will do. See, direct tax and indirect tax. When we say direct tax, we always see that it is the tax which is on the individuals. Tax on the individuals, and the individual cannot transfer it to someone else. Understand this? So when we say direct tax, it is a tax on individuals and businessmen and businessmen, and it is non-transferable in nature. It is non-transferable in nature. Non-transferable in nature. Please understand this. Have you ever seen? At the same time, I'm writing here and then clarifying. It is a tax on goods and services. Tax on goods and services, but paid by final consumer. It is transferable in nature. In nature. It is transferable in nature. Please understand this. When I'm purchasing this marker, obviously that the shopkeeper, he has purchased the marker first and then now he's selling it. So he paid the price also and paid the GST also, because 100 rupees, suppose 18% tax. So he paid 118, profit adjusted in 100, and now he is selling to you. Don't you think when you are going to purchase, he is not only transferring the price, he paid that one, but now he has transferred the entire tax amount on you, isn't it? like 18 rupees GST, this is the price of it. You will have to pay what? 118, isn't it? So tax, obviously, when he purchased, there is a payment, but he has transferred that one on the final consumer. You are the final consumer, isn't it? But can we say that he has written 100 rupees plus 18% GST, indirect tax, and 10 rupees income tax, written somewhere? He cannot transfer it to the people. He will have to pay. Yes, can everyone transfer? Can anywhere you see that price GST plus my income tax? थोड़ा सा तो pay कर दो. Is it written anywhere? Non-transferable. You will have to pay. Yes, GST form of indirect tax that final consumer will pay. When you have taken the admission here, it is a service. Don't you think you paid the GST? Yes. You are the final consumer of the service. So you will have to pay that, isn't it? That one. But at the same time, Vajiram director is paying the income tax, never ever written fees plus GST plus my income tax. थोड़ा थोड़ा कर दोगे पे तो ठीक रहेगा. ऐसा है क्या? So non-transferable, transferable. Mind it, direct taxes are compulsory. Why? Because it is on me, I will have to pay. Indirect taxes are not compulsory, it is by choice. Because when you decided to purchase this marker, then the GST on it. Because it is not on the individual. Please understand. Why called as indirect? It is not on me, it is on something else. And what is that something? Goods or services. See, this is the good. I have decided not to teach you through this electronic board. Obviously, then whatever the GST on it, I will not pay. I will teach you through that blackboard or chalk or through the other system. Just last to last year, it was what? The normal board and whiteboard and this marker system was there. So there is no GST into it. So I decided to avoid that one. So it is my choice. Please understand. When I have chosen to teach you through this electronic board, at the same time also I am also choosing to pay the GST into it. I can avoid it. I have the other ways. Can I do this with the income tax? Obviously not. I am getting the money from Vajiram. I will have to pay the tax into it. I cannot say कुछ और कर लेते हैं जिससे कि ये नहीं होगा. Legally it is not possible, isn't it? Unless and until allowed by the government. So it is compulsory, and it is to forget about that. There is TDS, tax deducted at source. Vajiram transfer the money, cuts the tax first, then transfer the remaining money. So no choice, compulsory to pay, isn't it? और non होता है तभी छुपाते उपाते हैं. Known है तो you cannot hide it, that one. But indirect tax, what happens? It is my choice. Now you decided, this is your choice to study here, and then at the same time you know that the GST is also you will have to pay. What is the fees of Vajiram GS? Not 170. Yes, the remaining is the GST. So you told that this is the fees, because please understand, government is considering to reduce this 18% tax to 15. So if it will be applicable, don't you think for the next batch it will be fees plus GST? The overall amount would be less than 1,70,000, isn't it? So actually you say that at the same time, whenever you are doing this, you decided to take the admission, and that's why at the same time, you know, ये admission है तो इसमें tax भी देना है. So it is your choice. It is not mandatory that नहीं मुझे तो admission लेना ही लेना. It is your choice to do that. You can avoid it. If you are avoiding the admission, not pay the tax. Can you avoid on the direct tax? Earning the income, pay will have to pay. You say, sir, agriculture में हो जाता है. No, there is a tax on agriculture income. Government has given exemption. अभी आपको छूट दे रहे हैं. It doesn't mean that it is the rule. ये rule नहीं है. You will have to pay the tax into it. But now the government is not collecting that one, isn't it? We cannot transfer it to someone. So when we say this direct tax, it is compulsory to pay. Compulsory to pay. Because its imposition does not depend upon any condition. Does not depend upon any condition. Yes, it is not compulsory to pay because only paid when consumed. When consumed. Yes, mind it, compulsory definition never comes with any condition. Compulsory, then you will have to do it. But this is not compulsory because condition. Purchase करोगे तब pay करना है. नहीं कर रहे हो करोगे नहीं pay करना है. There is no as such purchasing kind of things here. Yes, when you consume the item, then pay the tax, because at the time of consumption of item, you are also agreeing that I will have to pay this GST, isn't it, that amount? But there is no as such thing that when I am earning the income, I am agreeing that I will pay that income. You have to pay it, compulsory. There is no condition at all. So it is not levied with any kind of condition, it is levied with condition. Yes, suppose whole life I have nothing to do with the kind of indirect tax levied on the tractor, because I'm not consuming it. But if I purchase it, I will have to pay. So the tax payment is also my choice, because my choice is to purchase that item also. Yes, but if without tractor, I can do my cultivation. Even suppose I have the agricultural land through some other people tractor. Yes, they can do that cultivation. I can avoid that one, isn't it? So when we say indirect, it is not on the individual, it is on goods or services. But when you are decided to consume it, then indirectly you will have to pay. That's why called as indirect tax. Actually, whether direct or indirect, the tax burden is always on the individual. Final. See, not on the manufacturer, not on the service provider. Please understand this. We will study in the GST that suppose whatever Vajiram collected GST from you, when it will return back the GST to the government, because it is the government's money, whatever GST, indirect tax, Vajiram paid on the input, means on this board, this monitor, yes, you can say ACs and different, entire would be returned back. So in this way, the service provider is the Vajiram, GST tax free. I told you, always who pays the tax? Final consumer, whether goods or services. We will study what is this input tax credit, study that, but understand this, always final consumers they pay the tax. Yes, अब you say that Vajiram GST नहीं देती है, अरे Vajiram director and Vajiram teachers, they are also the final consumer. We purchase cars for personal use, so GST वहाँ कर रहा है ना. The Vajiram director has this building for the business purpose, but residence for own purpose. Final consumer है ना उसके. Final consumer means not using that one for any kind of business purpose. The director has also purchased the car for himself. So, to other ways he is paying the GST, but whatever purchased as an input to provide, what is the final product of this Vajiram? Coaching classes. For that, these entire things are inputs, isn't it? But anyway, that detail I am not going, but I am telling that when we say direct tax, it is on the individuals and businessmen. When we say indirect tax, it is on the goods and services. Yes, always. It always depends that when you consume, pay the tax. Not, do not pay the tax. Don't you think you have the option? You go to take a cup of tea in CCD, then pay the GST. Going to the roadside, do not pay the GST. Isn't it? This is you can avoid it. Can you say that नहीं वो इनकम टैक्स में हम वो थोड़ा नीचे उतर जाएंगे तो नहीं देना पड़ेगा? If you do the indirect illegal kind of activities, obviously you can avoid it, but you cannot avoid that one unless and until legally allowed by the government. Legally allowed like agriculture वाले में है, but आप wrong उसका भी नहीं दिखा सकते. If you are showing that agriculture income है and you do not have the agricultural land, obviously जेल में जाओगे, isn't it? We have seen that so many people with a tax violation caught by the authorities. Yes, फिर वो काला नकाब पहन लेते हैं, आंखों के सामने नहीं काट के ऐसे खड़े रहते हैं हमेशा. We see that. So it happens, but direct and indirect tax now related to what? Tax revenue, isn't it? So not tax is not any, look at the definition. Tax is not any kind of liability means burden for the government. अरे government को तो मिल रहा है, government has the receipt. How it can be a liability? Written, no, it does not create any kind of liability. It means any kind of burden. any kind of burden. See, apart from that, when we see the second line, it is not obtained through selling of anything. So tax mein the government is not selling anything, its own asset government is not selling. Whatever sold in the market, that the tax is associated with that, isn't it? And this is so valid those two lines with the tax revenue. Now look at the non-tax revenue. Understand the entire concepts. These I wrote at last, so last I will discuss. First I am discussing these. Non-tax revenue. There is a government hospital. Okay, nominal fee, but we pay that. So that money goes to the government. Even 10 rupees, one ticket, but at least that is going to the government. Every day, AIIMS, every day the 1,000 people will come, 1,000 into 10 rupees, obviously going to the government. Government school, if some nominal fee sometime we are paying, obviously that money is going to the government. Yes, when we will move without seat belt and without helmet, yes, obviously there would be a fine and all. So that fine, obviously there is a slip and that goes to the government, isn't it? If there is a slip. If there is a under table dealing, तो फिर बात ही अलग है. You say that अरे 250 rupees में कर लो, वो तो एक अलग है. That is different story. But fine, obviously. And now we are more aware that those seat belt, we need to wear it, isn't it? After Cyrus Mistry incident. Yes. So that accident. See, when we say dividend, yes, actually one line of definition for the dividend is a part of profit given to shareholder. One line of definition, a part of profit given to shareholder. Yes, a part of profit given to shareholder. Yes, that one. So when we say dividend, a part of profit, yes, part of profit given to shareholder. Given to shareholders. Okay, dividend. See, that suppose you have you are the owner of two factories. In one factory 100%, another factory 10% profit, 10% your share. Don't you think the another factory, whenever it makes the profit, a part of profit would also be given to you? At least 10% of the profit should be given to you. So you have the share because then you are also eligible to get that profit. Similarly, public sector undertakings, government units, railway, ONGC, banks, Indian Oil Corporation and all, government has the share, majority of the share, RBI, maximum, entire. So whenever these organizations would make the profit, don't you think part of profit would be given to the government? Isn't it? Otherwise, how come the government will run its expenditures? Simple. Yes, salary to the staffs and all. Yes, the road construction, then airports and all and different. So, that a part of profit, in that process, 2018-19, because it was a little bit controversial, RBI transferred around 1.76 lakh crore rupees of its surplus profit to the government. Yes, surplus profit called as surplus dividend. Yes, to the government. So obviously, what is the logic? Government is the shareholder of it. When they will make the profit, the part of profit must be given to the government while keeping something for their own requirement. Yes, it was 5.6 to 5.9% of the profit they kept with themselves. 5.6 they kept, remaining they transfer to the government. So obviously that is needed to run what? The entire expenditures, isn't it? That one. So dividend. Sometimes the foreign nations, they give grants. Suppose there is a floods in Uttarakhand and somewhere, that foreign nations, they have given one-sided payment to the government because grants no obligation that we have to return it back. But we have to show that money somewhere, isn't it? And where we'll show it is the receipt of the government, and which receipt? We can say revenue receipt but non-tax, isn't it? Some suppose that 100 crore given by one country, the 150 by some another and something. So that will be a part of grants received from the foreigners. ऐसा मिला है ना जी, तो कहीं तो दिखाएंगे ना, somewhere we will show it, and where we will show that receipt but non-tax because it is not in the form of tax. That one. license, 4G license, 5G license to the telecom operators, driving license to the individuals. So obviously we pay the fee and there is a money. That money goes to the government. Yes, that one. But see, when we say asset monetization, recently more popular, this asset monetization term. Understand, this asset monetization, suppose that you take one example, in the Rajendra Nagar during pandemic, the rooms were vacant, rooms are asset for the landlords, but that was not giving money to the landlords, called as non-monetized form. But moment now you are staying there and giving them the rent, monetized, asset monetized, means the asset is started giving revenue and income to the owner. Similarly, government had the godowns, vacant godowns of the railway. If government has given that to the private on rent or on lease means 4 or 5 years, temporary owner, after that with the government. So on lease, the same vacant godowns started giving rent to the government, started giving money to the government. Those godowns belong to the railway, ultimately to the government. So those assets started giving money, asset monetization. Further example, there was pipelines for the transportation of petroleum products. Several areas earlier government constructed that one, but now that some factories closed and something, now those pipelines are useless. So that pipelines can be given on rent. To whom? To private companies on rent, and that asset would start giving money to the government, asset monetization. There is one more discussion I saw, and I'm explaining. These are the railway lines. Look at this. We always see, besides the railway lines, large vacant areas. Don't you think? Poles here in the fields, that these are this one, and here's this. So many engineers, they suggested that first with the engineers there would be a fixation that up to this much land can be used without compromising with the safety of the railway lines. Means under it you see that suppose this much land can be used while leaving this, and here this much can be used while leaving this place, can be used. So what is the suggestion? That this land you give to this farmer, yes, on rent, this land to this farmer on rent, this land to this and this. Don't you think India has a large area of railway tracks and large unutilized lands that can be used to get the money? Similarly, this here also, isn't it? This can be used, large area of lands can be used, and the asset which is a non-monetized form, asset here land, started giving income to the government. Asset monetization. That last year, last year the target was 88,000 crore rupees. Through asset monetization, government received 93,000 crore rupees, more than the set target. So good, a welcome one. Yes, why? Because that is needed for what? To finance these expenditures. And see, mind it, if you are getting more and more revenue from tax and non-tax, then less borrowing we need, isn't it, to finance our expenditures. This is the expenditure and this is the tax, this is the non-tax, this is some disinvestment something. So we need to borrow this much. But this is the tax, non-tax, and this, we need to borrow this much, isn't it? You understand this? What the Gotabaya Rajapaksa did, he reduced the tax, increased the expenditure, subsidy kind of things, unemployment allowance and all. Yes, now huge gap between receipt and this, and see, huge gap between this one, and they borrowed more, around $7 billion US from outside. It's difficult to pay the interest even at present. And at that time, people were happy because shuru mein to khush hote hain na, sasta ho gaya. They told this is the person who is going to change the fortune of the country. Ultimately, he did that, isn't it? He changed the fortune of the entire nation and fled away from there. नहीं हो सकता है, ठीक है. अभी तो वो आप ऐसा करके आपने बताया, श्रीलंकन इकोनॉमी कंडीशन भी ऐसे ही है, isn't it? So उसको भी प्रॉब्लम है. But anyway, so that now, and later on the people captured his palace and the buildings and all, and the same people were very happy, told, ah, kya aadmi hai ji. And now there was a meeting with the Indian bureaucrats also, with the Prime Minister 2-3 months back. They told some of the states are going Sri Lankan way. Their overall income is less, expenditure is quite high, and any time they can be like Sri Lanka, but the blame would come on the central government, because Sri Lanka is a country. If there is a problem with Punjab and the problem with Rajasthan or Bihar or somewhere else, obviously the India would suffer. You say that India में problem है, isn't it? Internally तो होगा कि state के लिए है, but what will happen? Obviously say that country has the bad condition. There should be a need of a national level debate over good freebies, bad freebies. Yes, subsidies like that, good expenditure, bad expenditure, isn't it? Water to those people who cannot pay the bill, essential, needed. Those people who spend around 5,000 to 10,000 in a restaurant in a single day and giving 500 rupees free water, obviously not needed. If you are doing that, we need to borrow that money from outside. Borrowing would increase. We'll discuss. That's why at least I'm happy there's a continuous discussion about good freebies, bad freebies. There is a case also in the Supreme Court regarding this, isn't it? So at least people should understand सब freebies अच्छे नहीं होते हैं. Yes, every free is not good. Yes, it may cost the future of the future generation, but anyway, we will discuss under the expenditure. So now, asset monetization and borrowing is not part of this. Now look at the S-sheet and special assessment. See, please understand, these all are the non-tax revenue. When you say S-sheet, listen, and then I will make you write also, that if there is a death of a legal owner of a particular place, the legal heirs are minor. Minor is not attained the age of 18 years, whether he or she. What the government will do, government will take the control of that property so that someone would not grab it, because the legal heirs are minor. Moment they will attain the age of 18 years, property would be handed over to them. But for that caretaking activities, government will demand some money, and that money is called as S-sheet, isn't it? So it might be that after attaining the age of 18 years, they do not have the money. There would be you can say year wise. There can be that you can pay it in installments, you can pay it later on, but property would be handed over to them, isn't it? But with that caretaking activity, some money demanded by the government called as S-sheet. Please write one line about it. S-sheet. Cheat nahi, S-sheet. S-sheet. Yes, right. It is the money demanded by the government for some caretaking activities. Done on minors property. Minors caretaking activities done on minors, minor apostrophe s, minors property. Yes, minor means that person legally, what is the definition of this? Not attained the age of 18 years, isn't it? So minors property, this is S-sheet. Acha, see, we know that it is the duty of the government to do developmental activities, but it is not the duty of the government to cut a particular forest and develop that area into a residential area. Government, it is not that. No one will force the government to do this. But suppose, take the example of Dwarka, near to this place. Earlier it was a forest. Government did the cutting of trees and converted additional effort, isn't it? Because this is not the routine of the government to cut the trees to develop that one into a residential area. Government did the cutting of trees, developed that area into a residential area, provided several facilities like you can say better drainage system, police station, street lights, public parks. For that developmental activity, government would demand some money from the residents of that place called as special assessment. Somewhere special assessment in the form of tax, like somewhere government has constructed you can say bridges, for that there is a toll tax. So वो tax के रूप में हो गया तो फिर वो tax वाला हो जाएगा. But what is special assessment? It is the amount charged by the government for some developmental activities done in a particular area. Please write special assessment. It is the amount charged by the government for the developmental activities done in that particular area. From the residents. Don't you think that this entire example, whether tax or non-tax, there is nothing is creating any kind of burden on the government? Entire receipts. Receipt to burden hoga hi nahi na, entire receipts. Number one, the first line of the definition, do not create any kind of liabilities. If you remember, liabilities means burden on the government. Number two, not obtained through selling of government properties. Nothing sold in the tax revenue, nothing sold here. Please understand, asset monetization is not the selling of it. If you say asset monetization of selling of it, then you stay in the someone else room in the Rajendra Nagar, you say that asset monetization aapne kar diya, ab room hamara ho gaya ji. Isn't it? You cannot do that. It's only a rented property. Isn't it that one? So this is the definition of revenue receipts, exactly matching with that. But when we say capital receipt, you always remember that the question was there in last year that whatever the definition of it, almost reversal of it would be the definition of it. Whatever the definition of this, almost reversal of this would be the definition of this. Now look at that. Capital receipts, you do one thing, write the definition, then we will discuss it. Write capital receipts definition. Capital receipts. Right. They may have long-term character. One by one, right? They may have long-term character. About capital receipts, they may have long-term character. They may have long-term character. Number one. Number two, yes, they may be obtained. They may be obtained through selling of government properties. Through selling of government properties. Through selling of government properties. Yes. And the third one, yes, they may create liabilities for the government. They may create liabilities for the government. Liabilities for the government. Acha, please understand, look at the definition, not written must and all, written may. Look at the first line, written they may have long-term character. Look at the first one, it means may or may not. So first one is matching with the first line, first example. Don't you think loans always have a long-term character? When the government has given loan to some state, take the example of Punjab. When the present government, present party assumed the office, the chief minister demanded around 3 lakh crore rupees from the central government. So if the central government will give that loan, obviously it will be for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, long-term character, isn't it? So the loan, and after suppose 5 years, after 5 years loan would be recovered. So that will be a part of capital receipt, but there is an interest associated with that. A loan ke saath interest bhi hoga na, interest would be the part of non-tax receipt. It means interest receipts by the government is a part of non-tax revenue, while the recovery of loans would be the part of capital receipt. But look at that, first line of definition of capital receipt is that it may have long-term character, isn't it? And it is, loan has the long-term character, isn't it, that one? Because when the government is giving the loan given for the longer period, that one. And that's why written may, because same definition is not valid with the second one, isn't it? The second one, another line of definition, written what? They may be obtained through selling of government properties. Don't you think disinvestment is the selling of government properties to the private? Later we will see that difference between disinvestment, privatization and all. But if disinvestment with this much share government is selling to the private, suppose disinvestment by 10%, so 10% sold to the private, 20% sold to the private. Normal definition is more than 50%, then the ownership also going to the private, called as that disinvestment is now privatization. Normal definition, there are other definitions also. But when we say disinvestment, we are talking about that government has sold its property to the private. Obviously, look at the definition. They may be obtained through selling of government properties. Government sold Air India to the Tata. Don't you think that that is disinvestment? Obtain that money by the government after selling of its asset, isn't it that one? And the third line of the definition is that they may create liabilities, burden. Don't you think borrowing, government is borrowing from somewhere, obviously it is a burden on the government. Borrowed amount plus interest, government has to refund it back, return it back to the banks or even from taken from outside and all. So the three lines of definition, one line is matching with one, might be not with another one is matching with that, not with the other, might be, and the third one is this. That's why written may be. Otherwise, if all the three would match with all this, we'll say that must be and must be, isn't it? So these are the three lines of, look at that, I told you, whatever here, almost reversal of this is this. What is that? Do not create liability, may create liability. Not obtained through selling of government properties, may be obtained through selling of, isn't it? So matching with the definition of this disinvestment. Yes, that one. So we have this entire assets when we see that, and we have this capital and revenue. So now I told you, you can simply, please wait, you can simply identify any kind of example through definitions. Understand this. Suppose written GST. It is a revenue receipt or capital receipt. Why revenue receipt? Look at the definition. Not obtained through selling of anything. So the GST is the government is getting. Do not create any kind of liability. Obviously not creating any kind of burden. But look at that written, government borrowed from SBI Bank. It is revenue receipt or capital receipt. Why? Because look at the definition of capital receipt, that it may create liabilities. So obviously it is creating the liability. Suppose that government sold that LIC some share to the public. So it will be revenue or capital, because there is one line of definition that it may be obtained through selling of government properties, isn't it? That one. So the definitions are here. आप कुछ पूछ रहे हो क्या?
Allocation of coal blocks और spectrum में जो
Obviously वो license है, वहाँ पे non tax revenue है वो.
So they don't sell it, it's just for rent.
No, it's only that because for a certain time period, later on it will be revoked. Yes, but same thing cannot happen with the Air India and all. That sold forever. वो license कुछ time के लिए मिलता है, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. After that फिर से आपको renew करना पड़ेगा, isn't it? So only giving that charge to operate in the Indian market. कितने चले गए? Uninor चले गए. But Uninor suppose if sold, तो company लेकर जाती, isn't it? This is the main difference, isn't it? So we get the license, obviously only license to drive something legally. Yes, it doesn't mean that we have a right on those roads and all. ये नहीं है, only permission दिया गया इतने दिनों तक आप चला सकते हो. Yes, that one. Someone asked here. हाँ, please. नहीं, वो what we do later on, that is different. Recovery of loans तो हमें recover हुआ था, हम क्यों disinvestment करेंगे? Recover. We have, suppose Indian government has given loan to the Punjab government. तो वहां पे जो लोन पंजाब गवर्नमेंट से रिकवर हुआ था, इसमें डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट कहां से आया? वो तो पंजाब गवर्नमेंट पे करेगी ना, तो रिकवर हो गया हमारा पैसा जो हमने लोन दिया था. No, but that depends upon that government, not possible. Yes, वो गवर्नमेंट ने नहीं दिया तो there would be stringent rules and something to get that. But it's all about recovery of loans that central government has given to someone and that is recovered. It's all about that one. नहीं है तो क्या करेंगे? वो तो different methods है. What is the recovery of loans called as? Long term character, it is a capital receipt. It's all about that one. कहीं से भी हो सकता है. अब अलग, लेकिन गवर्नमेंट को ग्रांट्स किस कौन देगा? नो, बट आई एम टेलिंग इट्स ऑल अबाउट गवर्नमेंट रिसिट है ये, इट्स नॉट अबाउट, अब इफ यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट प्रधानमंत्री किसान सम्मान निधि, इट इज गिवन टू यू, वो एक्सपेंडिचर है। पीएम केयर्स भाई प्रधानमंत्री किसान सम्मान निधि, अच्छा पीएम केयर्स, सो दैट इज नॉट ग्रांट्स, yes, that is receipt from somewhere. When you say that, it's anywhere receipts, if there is a grant, the grant is the grant, whether outside or inside. If grants is given receipt, obviously part of it. See, when we say that this entire revenue receipts, when we say this capital receipts, so these entire are the part of receipts. Yes, that one. Now, when we decide, Vaishnavi is writing how GST is liability. किसने बोला जीएसटी लायबिलिटी है? अरे वो तो एक अलग चीज है, जीएसटी लायबिलिटी कैसे हो गया? अरे स्टेट को पे करना, सेंट्रल किसने कह दिया सेंट्रल को स्टेट को पे करना? तो कंपनसेशन होता है, जो एसजीएसटी वो डायरेक्टली स्टेट को जाता है, वो जीएसटी कंपनसेशन फॉर द 5 years खत्म हो गया वो, एंड वो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट टोल्ड कि हम आपको देंगे जो आपका रेवेन्यू लॉस होगा 2015-16 के बेसिस पे। ऐसा नहीं है कि गवर्नमेंट कंट्रोल लेती है तब स्टेट को देती है, सीजीएसटी टू द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, एसजीएसटी डायरेक्टली टू द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट। आईजीएसटी जीएसटी काउंसिल कलेक्ट्स इट, जीएसटी काउंसिल में कौन है? दैट एंटायर द स्टेट्स एंड द एंटायर सेंटर बोथ आर द रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ऑफ इट, सबके रिप्रेजेंटेटिव उसमें है, सो इट्स नॉट अबाउट दैट वन। सो इट मीन दैट कैपिटल रिसिट, जीएसटी कैसे कैपिटल रिसिट का पार्ट हो गया? वैष्णवी, जीएसटी तो टैक्स रेवेन्यू है ना, इट विल बी अ पार्ट ऑफ रेवेन्यू रिसिट, नॉट कैपिटल रिसिट। लोन एंड डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट, लोन टेकन फ्रॉम समवेयर विदाउट सेलिंग समथिंग, डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट सोल्ड एंड देन obtained that money. So loan recovery clearly told that central government has given loan to someone, some states, and recovered that money. This is the meaning of it. Okay, dividend, several examples. I gave you the example of dividend. I gave you the example of that RBI gave a part of profit to the government in 1819. Railway will give part of profit to the government. SBI will get part of profit to the government. These entire are the dividend. Windfall tax is imposed on the areas, sectors which are making good profit, isn't it? So dividend itself, there is a dividend distribution tax on the receivers. Already we are levying that. So why should that double taxation? So what is your question? Increase in foreign exchange. So obviously foreign exchange increase we have done for something. It automatically would not increase. It will in foreign exchange or something. It automatically not increase. Through some tax revenue it will come. Through some non-tax revenue it will come. Somewhere suppose that Vodafone company from outside, it will bring the foreign currency, purchase the spectrum in India. There would be a forex payment in the foreign currency. So for what it will be? That is important. Interest koi, interest come in because interest is only service charge. Interest is not the liability. Liability is the loan always. That's why interest receipt is a part of non-tax revenue. Selling what category will be the money procured from selling properties of private business owner? ये गवर्नमेंट का है रेशु चौधरी, प्राइवेट वाले क्या बेचते खरीदते हैं उसका नहीं है, बजट गवर्नमेंट की बात हो रही है, ध्यान दो, ये गवर्नमेंट का डिस्कशन है, गवर्नमेंट के बजट का, प्राइवेट का डिस्कशन नहीं है, isn't it? Yes. So see now revenue expenditure, please write the definition. They do not create asset. They do not create asset. Revenue expenditure do not create asset. And they are not obtained. They do not create asset. Please, and दूसरा line. Yes, and they do not reduce liabilities. They do not create asset and they do not reduce liabilities. Create asset, they do not reduce liabilities. Do not reduce liabilities. Write the definition of, there are two different examples under it. One is developmental revenue expenditure. Please write the definition of this separately. Right, developmental revenue expenditure. The definition of it, right, please. developmental revenue expenditure. Right, it is providing day-to-day services by the government in order to run the economy, like health and education services, transport and communication services, irrigation and flood control services, research and development services, export services, and the host of services which government provides on a day-to-day basis to industry, agriculture, and various other sectors. And various other sectors. बगल से देख लो, बगल में लिखा हुआ होगा, देखो, various other sectors.
सर आपने एक एग्जांपल दिया था जिसमें गांव से पेरेंट्स और बच्चे दोनों से किए जाए थे, रोड पे आपने फोकस किया था. बेटर ऑप्शन ये नहीं होगा गांव में स्कूल और
अरे वो तो बाद में होगा. अगर आप एक गांव में स्कूल खोलते हो, बेटर किसने कहा वो बेटर नहीं है. लिसन प्लीज. आप अगर वो इस रोड बनाते हो कम खर्च में, इस रोड के बीच में 10 गांव आएंगे, इनके लोग काम करने भी जाएंगे, बच्चे भी जाएंगे. आप ई स्कूल में यहाँ करते हो, अगल बगल के ही बच्चे आएंगे. व्हाट अबाउट द पीपल हु वांट टू वर्क? उसके लिए फिर आप यहाँ जॉब क्रिएट भी करोगे. देयर आर सेवरल सॉल्यूशन. व्हाट अबाउट द पीपल हु हैव द गुड हेल्थ दे नीड? सो फर्स्ट सोल्यूशन रोड ही है. ऑब्वियसली द प्रोवाइडिंग ऑल द फैसिलिटीज एवरीवेयर इज द अल्टीमेट थिंग, बट रोड इज कनेक्टिंग all the facilities. actually road कुछ करता नहीं है but connecting the facilities. इसीलिए कोई भी गवर्नमेंट आती है, first they think about the roads and later on the other facilities. Obviously, don't you think might be that the good schools and colleges are needed, but why you come here from your place to this place? There is a transportation medium, there is a road or airways, but it's all about transportation. पहले वो है, later on we think about इस तरह के वहां भी हो, but first वो जरूरी है. Anyway, अच्छा, write about the non-developmental, please. Non-developmental. It comprises of non-developmental revenue expenditure. Non-developmental revenue expenditure. Non-developmental revenue expenditure. Right. It comprises of expenditure on defense, law and order, expenditure on defense, law and order, interest payments, pensions, civil administration, subsidies, grants to states, grants to states, etc. To states, etc. Please understand that we always say it's that they do not create asset. Yes, obviously, whether the money paid to the policemen and all, they do not create asset. It's all about physical asset, isn't it? No physical asset creation. That is given to maintain the status quo, isn't it? If somewhere law and order problem, they maintain the peace, whatever it was earlier. They do not create any kind of asset. Even that civil administration, why their expenditure is under the non-developmental? Because they do not add any physical asset in the economy, doesn't it? Tell me that what the policemen they produce, which the government will sell and give them the salary? Nothing, isn't it? So they only maintain that one. See the administrators, even the IS officers and all, whatever fund comes, they transfer it to the local bodies, Panchayati Raj, they will do the rest things, and the urban local bodies, they do the rest things, isn't it? They only ensure the governance. It's not the discussion that expenditure is not needed. We are talking about needed, but what is the categorization? Why under non-developmental one? Isn't it? Because they do not add any kind of quality even inside this one, because they only maintain the status quo. Please understand, somewhere the law and order is top class, but if people will not work, can the development would be ensured? Obviously not. Why salary paid to the school teacher called as the developmental one? Why? Because every minute infusing the knowledge and increasing the quality of that individual, isn't it? Why the doctor's salary, you say every minute increasing the health of that individual, including the quality into that person's. So that's why categorized under the developmental one. Why research and development? Every minute that new idea, for that R&D, this one. Why the flood control and all services? Obviously, flood control and all saving a lot of resources. At the same time, control is there, several destruction stopped at the same time. And so developmental and non-developmental. And this is the reason continuously we say that we need to think over it. Look at the subsidies. We always say that subsidies are unproductive. I am telling you all kind of subsidies. Please understand. You say, no sir, agriculture subsidy to production deta hai. It means you are not understanding the meaning of unproductive subsidy. Meaning of unproductive subsidy means that when government, you are working in the government offices, government first, you do the work for the 30 days and then after 30 days you get the salary, isn't it? If you are taking the leave, there will be leave without pay. Yes, beyond the limit. Yes or no? You work, then get the salary after 30 days. 1st January salary will not get on 1st January. You will get on after 31st. But what about the subsidy? So even the fertilizer subsidy government has given you, government demand any kind of production from you? Government says that I have given you agriculture subsidy, in fertilizer subsidy, give us at least 1 kg. Government demand something? Obviously not. And that's why called as unproductive. You say future mein hoga. Future mein to government ko free mein de doge aap. Obviously that whatever the market price, uske upar bhi MSP dena hota hai, isn't it? So nothing like that. And that's why these entire subsidies are called as one-sided. Yes, government is giving without getting even a single unit of production from you. Tell me any kind of subsidy. Yes, anyway, investment subsidy, government has given, moment subsidy, one-sided. Government never says, okay, obviously needed, that's why government is giving you. That is not the discussion. The discussion is whether it is productive or unproductive. Unproductive means your job is the productive one. You are giving services, then getting that one. Because that service is needed. But why the subsidy is unproductive? Because moment government is giving any kind of subsidy, scholarship. Tell me that what you give in return at the same time when government give you the subsidy, the scholarship. Nothing. Forget. Government never demands anything for that one. Government never demands that if suppose that even the unemployment allowance, government never says, Nami unemployment hai to production kya karoge? Isn't it? Unemployment allowance, government never says that produce 1-2 units. Widow pension, government never demands produce that one. You say that, sir, is it not necessary? Are kaun keh raha hai? It's all about categorization. Government consider it as a necessary one. That's why government is doing expenditure. It's all about why categorized under developed one and why categorized under underdeveloped one. Isn't it? So it's all about that one. That's why there is a sometimes always discussion
reduce some of the posts which are only maintaining the things. Means revenue expenditure for what? Revenue expenditure for what? That it is to maintain the things. That's it. If the Wajiram is earning enough, yes, to give the salary, electricity bill and all, obviously it is the revenue expenditure, anyhow managing. But earning enough to this and to purchase new building, capital expenditure. Written na? Construction. Someone is asking how the flood management is a developmental. अरे फ्लड से तो सारा घर बचता है मैनेजमेंट से, और उससे सारा फसल डिस्ट्रक्शन से बचता है, और सारे लोगों के प्रोडक्शन बचते हैं. इट इज नॉट अ डेवलपमेंटल वन. तब तो ये नॉन डेवलपमेंट विनाशक है, ये नहीं फ्लड को रोक लेना. सो इट इज instant result of the flood with that one.
The same way, defense development will also result in maintenance of property and
So defense is maintaining the property.
the land of the country, the boundaries will be secure.
No, where is the addition? That will be destroyed. No, please understand. Flood is continuously destroying this thing without anyone. When we say defense and all, you are talking about conditional one. When there is an invasion, tell me any country invasion happens how many years? How many days and all? Obviously, that almost none. Almost. So the every year expenditure for what? It's all about when flood comes, then management. So it's better than defense personnel keep when the attack is there. Then you will save that one. But what about when there is no attack? Flood management, when flood comes, we are talking about the management. Isn't it? So it's all about that. It is stopping the destruction of those crops and those buildings and all those. Otherwise, the same money for those to feed those people, government will have to do the additional expenditure on the food grains. Because destroyed houses, additional expenditure on the houses. Obviously, developmental one. ये तो डिस्कशन ही नहीं हो रहा है एडिशनल एक्सपेंडिचर. ये तो डिस्कशन हो रहा है रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर. गवर्नमेंट अपना पैसा कहां खर्च करेगी? गवर्नमेंट को फ्लड कंट्रोल पे नहीं खर्चा करना चाहिए. इट्स नॉट, ये तो डिस्कशन ही नहीं है व्हाट एडिशनल एंड व्हाट नॉट. इट्स ऑल अबाउट गवर्नमेंट हैज द मनी, इट कांट, इट मस्ट फॉर द फ्लड कंट्रोल. इफ यू रिमेन इन द फ्लड रिलेटेड एरियाज, असम एंड ऑल, देन यू से दैट इट इज द फर्स्ट वन. बहुत जरूरी है. And that is doing what? That aircraft, and that is doing what? One shells for 1 crore, 2 crore destroyed without any use. That is doing what? What kind of development infusing in the system? So you are forgetting. No, please, you are forgetting that this all expenditure done by the government. It's all about categorization of the government. So development, you are discussing, sir, government is doing. Why under the developmental, why under the non-developmental? It's all about that one. Government is doing that, yes, because that is not infusing any kind of development in the society. It's all about that one. Okay, expenditure to purchase one gun, please understand. Tell me development. Expenditure on one doctor and salary, tell me that on a daily basis, which one is infusing quality in the society? That's why the categorization. But both are essential. Government is doing that one. It's all about categorization. That's it, isn't it? It is subsidies. Incentives are always subsidies. Yes, and that is without any production. अरे वो प्रोडक्शन के लिए तो अलग से पैसा आता है. No. This is subsidy. That is additional money given for produced item. Can you say that PLI money I would adjust inside the production money? Please. अरे आप क्वेश्चन पूछो, continuously you will ask the question, how can I reply? I am telling you that you produce the items. Do you get the money for that or not? Yes. What is the PLI? Cashback. Additional money. So additional money for what? For PLI, if government is giving, are you giving something to the government? उस PLI money के लिए तो you are not giving something to the government. So where is the production into it? Production के लिए तो you sold the item, you got the entire money. Government told this much production would be there, you will give you the cash back. Yes? So incentive it is only, and that incentivizes forces the people to go for production. That's why government is doing expenditure. We're not talking about why PLI. We are talking about PLI is the kind of subsidy or not. Obviously it's a subsidy. It's unproductive.
So what about expenditure on tourism, like
If that is not yielding the income to the government, obviously it is not non-developmental one. If it is yielding revenue to the government, obviously it is. That tourism is also a part of the biggest source of income. तब तो स्विट्जरलैंड जीरो हो जाता, तब एंटायर हिमालय रेंज जीरो हो जाते. लोग क्या देखते हैं, अरे क्या खूबसूरती है. खूबसूरती तो दिखती नहीं है ना, फील करते हैं, हाँ क्या बात है. सो टेल मी दैट, तो वहां तो कुछ दिखता ही नहीं है. वाटरफॉल, अरे पानी गिर रहा है, क्या है ये. सो isn't it? So it's all about what? If promoting tourism, giving the money, you cannot say that, because the people of that area, they are dependent upon that one. Guide होते हैं, उनकी salary होती है, family expenditure होता है, isn't it? So that. So अच्छा, please write the capital expenditure definition, please. They may create asset. They may create asset. They may create asset. Next point, they may reduce liabilities. They may reduce liabilities. Yes, please understand. So reduce liabilities. Acha, look at this. Don't you think construction of roads, asset creation? Roads, now more roads, asset creation. Number of airports, more airports, asset creation. Railway lines, more railway lines, asset creation. But loan payment, payment of loans, obviously reduction of burden of the government. Government has paid that money. So this is. So now when we define that, if you look at the last year question, and now it is the starting of it, it's important. This is the basic of the entire budget discussion. That we need to understand which one is revenue expenditure, which one is capital. In your family, if your family is getting that much money, which is only sufficient enough to run the family's food, education, electricity and something, we say that it is a revenue expenditure. But your family is earning also, besides that expenditure, to have one new car, to have one new building, one new flat, earning enough not only to maintain revenue expenditure but also to maintain capital expenditure. For any country generally thinks about what? We should earn that much, that we should earn the maintenance and also to have new asset. Don't you think? Capital expenditure, that one. Please, there should not be confusion between two things. You say, sir, school building construction, government school building construction, and you see that the salary paid to the government teachers, different. Government school building asset creation, naya building aaya, capital expenditure. Salary paid to the government school staffs to maintain that building, developmental revenue expenditure. When we say that government hospital construction, but salary paid to the doctors and all, isn't it, to maintain that one. New Waziram building, capital expenditure for the institution, but salary paid to the staffs, teachers and all to maintain that one, isn't it, revenue expenditure? Yes, that one. So there should not be any confusion inside it. There should not be any confusion about both the concepts, revenue, receipts and expenditures. Tax, with the tax laga hona chahiye usme. Receipts, a non-tax, obviously there should not be any tax item inside it. When you say capital receipts, then recovery of loans, disinvestment may have long-term character obtained through selling of government properties, and what? Creating liabilities. And do not create asset, do not reduce liability, development and this, and the capital asset. Money allocation to different schemes will be what type? Are schemes depend karta hai kaun sa schemes? PLI is also a scheme hai, subsidy hai. Yes, so which kind of scheme? Suppose money allocated and because of that there is a construction of schools, obviously capital expenditure. Construction of roads, obviously capital expenditure. But that money is given to give the subsidy, obviously not. Dividend पे tax or not? बिल्कुल है जो dividend पे tax. अब receiver pay करता है, that we will discuss. Salaries development, which salary depends? Defense personnel not. To the teachers, to the doctors, yes. Grants to state non-developmental. Acha, tell me that whenever the government is giving grants to state, government demands something? Obviously not. अब उस grant से जब कुछ बनाओ, suppose grant से school बना लिया, तो वो तो already capital expenditure. Final outcome is the categorization. Have we ever discussed that construction of roads जो हुआ, वो borrowing से हुआ कि grant से हुआ? No, we are only talking about the result. If grants given and through grants there is a construction of schools and this, obviously then वो capital expenditure हो जाएगा. But whenever the government gives a grants, never says that do this and that, this one. So when grants given that year, financial year, that would be the revenue expenditure and constructed something, convert हो जाएगा उसी में, isn't it? It's all about what is the final result. Money given to build houses for the poor, subsidy scheme. Yes, because in return nothing is coming. Giving international loans falls under what category? When we say that internal, obviously it is an expenditure, and when we say that it is giving loans to someone, that kind of the revenue expenditure. Will give investment to startups be categorized. How will government investment on startups be categorized? The startups would have some new factories and some new business units, addition, obviously capital, if not maintaining this one. Existing infrastructure, revenue expenditure, international loans falls under giving international loans, already discussed. Pension, subsidy, non-developmental loan, NGO comes under which category? ये कौन सा क्वेश्चन है? एनजीओ कौन सा कैटेगरी में आएगा? एनजीओ को पैसा देना कौन सा कैटेगरी में आएगा? ये इंपॉर्टेंट है. फॉर एनजीओ स्कूल भी खोलते हैं, उसके लिए देंगे तो ऑब्वियसली कंस्ट्रक्शन देन कैपिटल आ जाएगा. डिपेंड्स. प्लीज ऑलवेज कैटेगराइज इट अकॉर्डिंग टू द काइंड ऑफ फाइनल रिजल्ट. Grants given but school constructed, obviously capital. Grants given, nothing done, obviously that non this one. So grant से कभी government does not demand the things return. इसमें है. Anywhere research and development is the developmental one. No, it's all about that. We have that one, and there is a asset monetization of it. ये एक important है, because I see that suppose that policeman you are paying that one, there is no asset monetization. They get that this is the expenditure, return is not there. Yes, you are paying, but there is no return at all. That's why we say expenditure. But obviously, हाँ तो वो है ना, रिसिट है ना, वो रिसिट में आएगा ना. आप एक्सपेंडिचर उधर कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर हो गया, बट लेटर ऑन वी आर गेटिंग नॉन टैक्स रेवेन्यू फ्रॉम देयर. हाँ, एक्सपेंडिचर इज देयर बट नॉन टैक्स रेवेन्यू वी आर गेटिंग. यस, पहले तो एक्सपेंडिचर होगा, स्कूल भी पहले बनेगा, फीस तो बाद में आएगा ना. सो फर्स्ट एक्सपेंडिचर देन द रिसिट वुड कम, नॉन टैक्स. Yes, and because of that the money is coming, but subsidy given not coming. Maintenance, nothing new is coming, it's only expenditure. रिटर्न आता है ना उससे, सो जाइए नॉन टैक्स रिसिट है, वो रेवेन्यू रिसिट है. असेट मोनेटाइजेशन है ना, कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर का. आपने लीज पर कहा, थोड़ी बेच दिया उसको, असेट मोनेटाइज किया आपने, किसी और को दिया और आपको उस पर लीज से आया, रेंट से पैसा आया. असेट मोनेटाइजेशन रिटर्न, वो सब नॉन टैक्स रेवेन्यू है. यस, वो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को आता है. अरे रिसिट में हरीश जनार्दन जी, रिसिट मीन्स लोन ऑल्सो. यस, receipt means loan also, receipt means what? Tax also. But when we say revenue, loan cannot be the revenue, loan would be the receipt. कुछ भी हाथ में मिल गया, my salary is the revenue for me, but loan is not revenue, loan is receipt. हिंदी में मुझे मिला, revenue is my income. Yes, this is the difference, revenue and receipt. I got this much clarity in economics. Thank you. Capital receipt may be obtained by selling government properties, then how it may create liability. अरे आप लोग ध्यान नहीं देते हो क्लास में. ऋषिकेश आपने लिखा कैपिटल रिसिट may be obtained by selling government properties. ये उसके लिए बोला था लायबिलिटी वाला वर्ड है वो? नहीं, लायबिलिटी मैंने बोला था लोन के लिए. I told you may, when I define that, please, he is asking that disinvestment से तो पैसा मिलता है, लायबिलिटी कैसे हो गया? I told that लायबिलिटी वाला डेफिनेशन इस पे अप्लाई होगा. I told ये अप्लाई किस पे होगा? प्लीज, ठीक है. So maintenance of already existing government infrastructure, revenue expenditure, MSA schemes was which expense? MSC से होता क्या है? That is important. Okay, so thank you. And say please, on the Wednesday there is a class. Please remind me. Yes, Wednesday there is a class. Remind me that we will start with classification of taxes. Yes, classification of taxes. Thank you.